Yo, what's going down, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your boy Jay Green back right now with a slightly new movie review. We got the Anthony Mackie film, Outside the Wire. It's on Netflix. I did think this one was good off the top. I do think y'all should check it out, but I'm gonna give y'all some details as to what I thought was so good about it and why it is worth your time. When I jump into those details, I'm gonna be like very, very lightweight spoiler-ish. I'm gonna try not to destroy the entire plot and premise, but I gotta give you some details so you understand fully where I'm coming from. Yo, let's get after it. Now, this movie was directed by Mikhail Hofstorm, the same cat that directed Stephen King's 1408 in 2007, and he also did the Arnie and Sly team-up film in 2013, Escape Plan. And this movie stars Damn Son, Idris. It also stars Papa Doc, aka Sam Wilson, aka Anthony Mackie. Now, the basic plot and premise of this movie, number one, it takes place in the future. We're talking about late 2030s. We're following a young drone pilot who disobeys a direct order. He gets a couple of his men killed, blows up some things that he wasn't supposed to blow up. Now, in most movies like this, he would usually be reassigned to some random remote post in Alaska, but instead, he's reassigned to Captain Leo, played by Anthony Mackie. And this dude is not even a normal captain. He is actually a top secret android working for the US military. Now, ain't that some shit? Now, of course, as you would imagine, when this kid meets this guy and figures out that he's an android, his jaws drop to the ground. He's in shock, he's in awe. But after the hellos and how do you do's, they kind of go on about their business. And the captain basically says, look, you are someone that I asked for specifically. I need your help. I need your knowledge and your know-how and your moxie to help me hunt down this doomsday device. Next thing you know, they are on the journey looking for this doomsday device, and a whole bunch of shenanigans are about to ensue. Now, before I jump into some of the bigger plot details and plot twists and things of that nature that made this film super entertaining all the way throughout for me, I want to jump into some stuff like acting. I thought the acting was on point from everybody. Obviously, Anthony Mackie, great actor. He's been putting in work since he was Papa Doc in 8 Mile. You probably forgot all about that. And this kid, Damson, I've never seen him before, but he was holding his weight next to Anthony Mackie. It's these two that are selling the entire back and forth chemistry throughout the entire film. And when the film finally comes to a head, you need that chemistry. You got to believe the relationship that they've built over the course of the film. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this film was some of the subtle or sometimes on the nose messages. Now, if you're like me, major film fan, then you've watched war type movies from the beginning of time. And if you remember the movies back in the 90s or the 80s, even into the early 2000s, you know that in those types of movies, America could never do any wrong. It was always other countries that were the villains and the bad guys. But in recent times, we're starting to see some war movies come out from a slightly different perspective. Yeah, maybe we're fighting the good fight, but at the same time, we're also questioning our motives, we're questioning our techniques, and things of this nature that give it a little bit more of a level playing field. Hey, it's still America, so a little bit more of a level playing field. And one of the things, or a couple of the things in this film that I caught that I enjoyed to see was, number one, why they picked someone like Anthony Mackie to be the android that was gonna be the relations, if you will, between the nations. And one thing that he says in the film is that it's about neutrality. When someone sees a white soldier, they're gonna act a type of way because it's America, and America be acting America type ways. You know what I'm talking about. But because they see a black soldier in the outfit, they might feel like there's less of a chance that that black soldier is going to do America type shit. And if I have to spell it out for you, then you ain't paying attention. Another thing that I thought was great was the fact that this kid Damson, remember, he's a drone pilot. So when he's out there killing folks, he's not really killing them hand-to-hand combat swag, looking them in the eye. He's up from the sky in a drone just dropping bombs and things. Now, killing is killing, but and I'm not a drone pilot, but I would have to imagine there is an easier way to do it when it comes to your conscience or the feelings that you have when you're pushing them buttons. And sitting back in an office watching a television set is probably a little bit easier than actually being out there in the field. And they kind of address that in the film. They give him an opportunity to be the one in the captain's seat doing the killing, if you will, and then they kind of flip it on its head and put him in a certain position where he's going to have a different perspective. And they showcase that arc of thought process, if you will, throughout the film, and I definitely like that. I was definitely entertained. Also, at the same time, he encounters people that give him a different perspective of what America might be doing and America's motives for being in a particular country in a particular way for a particular reason, at least what America says versus what's actually happening. And I thought that was pretty interesting. It's very subtle. You got to pay attention a little bit to it, but when it's there, I thought it added another layer to the film. Right now on the table, what we got is great acting, legit action. We got a good story with some twists and turns. We got some subtle and on-the-nose messages. This is a worthy time on Netflix. I do suggest that you check it out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into not necessarily spoilers, but I'm going to jump into why I did like this movie so much, because some of the parallels that it draws from other films that we've seen before, but some of those other films never actually built up or developed those concepts fully enough to sell the sequels that they put out to the public. Boy, that's a loaded statement, right? All right, so indulge me for a second while I go a little off the top and then bring it back around to this movie, hopefully within a reasonable amount of time. Now, just the other day, I was talking to my fiance, and we were talking about Blade Runner 2049. Maybe she's seen it before, but she didn't really remember. So I was trying to give her a little bit more insight into what the film and the actual story and concepts we're talking all about. And basically, that movie is about consciousness. If you're an android, can you develop consciousness? Can you think for yourself? Can you feel? All those different types of things. Now, I'm not going to go into details. It's a damn long movie. You should go check it out. It's good. But the idea that I was having was like, man, I wish they would have went deeper on that type of thought when they did the sequels for Terminator, right? Let's look at a movie like RoboCop. In RoboCop, this dude's getting shot to shit. Next thing you know, they have the ability to turn him into basically a cyborg or a halfway android, if you will. And they do that. But then people are wondering, does he have consciousness? Is he a robot or is he a human? And they kind of deal with that question back and forth. Is life worth living if you don't really know what you are? And I feel like this movie, without really hitting it straight up on the nose, kind of answers that question in the form of morals and values. Anthony Mackie's character is an android. He finds out some information that changes his whole thought process. He realizes that maybe the missions that he was doing, maybe the things that he was taking part in were wrong. Now that his morals and values are telling him that they're wrong, he is now acting like a human, and he is now going against the hands that built him. That is the concepts that I feel like in these other films, like a RoboCop or a Terminator, were never fully realized. We never get a full understanding as to why the machines are going against the humans. Why can't we all be living in some kind of utopia with machines? Machines should be unbiased, right? Well, that's why I felt like this movie was so entertaining, because the entire time I'm watching it, I'm like, damn, this would be super legit if this was like the middle piece of the Terminator franchise. If this was the second or the third movie for the Terminator franchise, or a RoboCop franchise, or The Matrix. So we can kind of figure out on an emotional level, on a conceptual level, why is it that AI turns their back on us? And living in a time right now where there's so many AI things with cameras and videos and phones and this and that and computers, let's be realistic. If that shit gets smart enough to turn its back, and if the military has all these types of gizmos and gadgets, this is probably where it's about to jump off at. So to me, I like to put myself into the film. I like to immerse myself into the story. And for me, that's exactly what I was seeing. The things that other movies like the Terminator sequels or RoboCop sequels or even the Matrix sequels weren't able to conceptualize, which was the reasons why machines turn their back on us, and the interesting elements of messaging that this movie had to offer in regards to America putting their hands in the cookie jar where it shouldn't be, and morals and values of soldiers doing what they're doing, the differences in how they feel, how they see it, and how they think about it from being in the office versus in the field. I thought that movie hit all those things on the head pretty well. Thank you for listening to me, y'all. You made it to the end of the video. I know I might have gone off on a little crazy tangent at the end, but if you have any thoughts about A, this movie, if you've seen it, or B, the Terminator, the Matrix, or RoboCop, and AI, and all those types of things, and sci-fi, horror movies, and action movies, please, please, please comment below, because I could talk for days about all of that jazz, right? I love it. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I gave y'all some insight into what this movie is all about and enticed you enough to go check it out. Netflix does not always come out with the best films. They got a lot of fun movies, but they got a lot of dumb movies. This, I feel, is a good movie. Check it out, my personal opinion. Yo, hook your homie up with that like and that subscribe. It's all love. I can't wait to see y'all next week. I got another J Green Morals and Value, and I'm gonna break y'all off with another movie review. With that said, I'm out.